Arsenal seem to be in a strong position to secure a new center forward this summer, but unexpectedly, they've hit the brakes. Negotiations that once moved quickly have slowed to a crawl, leaving many wondering about the strategy behind it. Today, however, the reasoning has become clearer. The primary reason Arsenal are holding off on pushing forward with other big deals is that they're quietly monitoring Rodrygo's situation at Real Madrid. At this point, there's no need to hide it anymore. Arsenal see Rodrygo as a potential game-changing signing, someone capable of elevating the club's level immediately. Naturally, this deal is being prioritized over other names like Victor Gyökeres or Benjamin Šeško, who are also on the radar, but considered secondary. According to journalist David Ornstein, Arsenal have several targets for this summer, with a central striker as the top priority. However, the Gunners are equally keen to strengthen their left flank, and Rodrygo is a player they don't want to miss out on. Their persistent interest may finally be paying off. Reports from The Athletic and Spanish media suggest that Real Madrid are now open to selling Rodrygo in this transfer window. New coach Xabi Alonso is reportedly willing to consider offers for the 23-year-old forward, who was once seen as a key piece for Madrid's future, but has struggled for minutes recently, even after returning from injury in mid-June. A clear sign of Rodrygo's increasingly uncertain standing is how he fell out of Carlo Ancelotti's plans toward the end of last season. According to The Athletic, there were internal concerns at Real Madrid about his training attitude, with some questioning whether he lacked motivation, claims that his representatives later denied. Still, these doubts likely contributed to him being left out of Brazil's squad for their first matches under Ancelotti's new tenure, against Ecuador and Paraguay, highlighting how strained relations had become. Tensions rose further when his father and agent, Eric Goes, publicly complained about Rodrygo's situation in Madrid, claiming his son was overshadowed by the club's powerful front three of Mbappé, Vinicius Jr., and Bellingham. Instead of helping his case, these complaints only annoyed parts of the club hierarchy, especially given his recent underwhelming form. As a result, the door to a move away from the Bernabeu is now more open than ever, awaiting only Xabi Alonso's final decision. An internal source speaking anonymously to The Athletic said both the coaching staff and club management agree. If a suitable offer arrives, Real Madrid won't stand in Rodrygo's way. Officially, though, the club sticks to the usual line, insisting they don't plan to sell and that they still trust him to contribute in the future. On the other side, Arsenal have already made their interest clear. Preliminary talks with the player's representatives have taken place in recent weeks. The Gunners' coaching staff have long admired Rodrygo, viewing him as a versatile option for both wings, especially as they look to add depth and attacking spark. Arsenal aren't only tracking Rodrygo, they're also keeping tabs on Anthony Gordon and Nico Williams, the latter a target for both Barcelona and Bayern Munich, though that deal now seems to have cooled. Any move for these players will be costly, forcing Arsenal to consider sales to balance the books. Rodrygo joined Real Madrid from Santos for €40 million in 2019 at just 18 years old, quickly making headlines with a hat-trick against Galatasaray in a 6-0 Champions League win. Under Ancelotti, he was a clutch player in their two most recent Champions League titles, famous for key goals at decisive moments. Yet consistency has always been the question mark. Rodrygo has often insisted his preferred role is on the left wing, a position dominated by Vinicius Jr., and now with Mbappé arriving, his path is even more blocked. On one side is Arsenal's promising system that just needs a few finishing touches. On the other is Real's star-studded, increasingly settled setup. And in the middle is Rodrygo, once tipped as Bernabeu's next big icon, now facing the biggest crossroads of his career. He is an excellent player, arguably world-class if slotted into the right system. That much is beyond debate. But from Arsenal's perspective, a club coming off a disappointing title challenge and trying to balance investment with sustainability, the Rodrygo deal isn't necessarily a perfect answer. Technically, he's an excellent fit for Mikel Arteta's system. He carries the ball well, moves smartly into half spaces, is tidy in tight areas, and can produce moments of quality even in cramped defenses. Per 90 minutes, Rodrygo averages over 5 carries, a number comparable to or even higher than Martinelli. In successful dribbles, he averages about 2 per match, solid for unlocking low blocks that often frustrate Arsenal. But that stylistic similarity to Martinelli is also a problem. Both are inside forwards who cut in centrally rather than staying wide, favoring central overloads over traditional wing play. This creates a challenge. To truly optimize Rodrygo's output, Arsenal would need a left-back who can push high and hold width consistently, a profile currently in short supply in the squad. Alexander Zinchenko isn't that kind of fullback. Kiwior or Takehiro Tomiyasu can cover there, but lack the pure attacking threat from wide areas. Nuno Tavares is out of the picture, and serious rumors about signing a new left-back haven't emerged. So if Arsenal want to use Rodrygo on the left, they'll either need to adjust their structure or invest in a true high-level left-back. Rodrygo has been tried on the right at Real Madrid, but clearly hasn't unlocked his full potential there. His Champions League performances last season proved it. He struggled to dominate on a flank where he looked uncomfortable. If Arsenal want to get the best out of him, it likely means putting him on the left wing or even centrally. Another option is using him as a false 9 or second striker. His off-ball movement, ability to attack space behind the line, and late runs into the box resemble what Kai Havertz did for Arsenal last season. The difference is Rodrygo has more pace and technical skill. Still, it's something Arsenal will have to think hard about because they're also pursuing out-and-out center forwards like Victor Gyökeres and Benjamin Šeško. Both are players who need a clearly defined system around them to thrive, and even a talent like Rodrygo could give Arteta a selection headache. Another issue is that Real Madrid won't let Rodrygo leave for cheap. Current estimates put the fee between 70 to 80 million pound, a price tag usually reserved for players who have already proven themselves as world-class game changers. Rodrygo isn't quite there yet. He's a big talent with top-level experience and goals in Champions League knockout matches, but he's never truly been an undisputed starter at Real Madrid. Much of his value lies in moments rather than consistent season-long dominance. Compared to Martinelli, Rodrygo might be slightly better in decision-making and technical unpredictability, but not by a wide enough margin to justify paying twice as much and benching Martinelli. If you're only marginally upgrading the same role, that's not necessarily smart spending when Arsenal's budget has to be spread across other priorities: a striker, a left back, and possibly a defensive midfielder if Thomas Partey leaves. On the plus side, Arsenal have a strong Brazilian Portuguese-speaking core to help Rodrygo settle quickly. He's also known as disciplined, low drama, and still has many peak years ahead of him. But as mentioned, this is a deal that will hinge heavily on tactics and price. If Real Madrid are willing to negotiate around 50 to 55 million pounds, Rodrygo could represent a true market opportunity, similar to how Arsenal picked up Zinchenko or Gabriel Jesus. But if the price stays stubbornly at 70 to 80 million pounds, it becomes a high-risk gamble. His arrival would force Arteta to change several aspects, from left-back deployment to pressing structure to the winger's role. The real question is whether this is the right moment for Arsenal to remodel their system for a player who may not even be the primary goal output. The future of Gabriel Martinelli is central to the entire plan to upgrade Arsenal's left flank. The team clearly wants more depth and quality there, but with Martinelli's pace and unpredictability already in place, any big money move for someone like Rodrygo or even Anthony Gordon needs a strong justification. As David Ornstein notes, if Martinelli were to leave, Arsenal could justify going all in for a top-tier replacement. But if Martinelli stays, it will be hard for Arsenal to justify spending big to create direct competition on the left wing, where he's been the clear first choice for years. That said, Arsenal's approach isn't just about replacing Martinelli. It's also about adding depth on the right, where Bukayo Saka has carried the load almost alone, with targets like Noni Madueke considered as backup. Additionally, the Gunners are looking at a creative midfielder like Eberechi Eze, someone who can play as an advanced number 8 or 10 in Arteta's system. Overall, it's a transfer strategy that blends upgrades, depth, and tactical flexibility, But all these pieces only fall into place if the current core players have their futures clearly settled. In short, things look promising, and I'd really like to see this deal happen. It really would be one of this summer's true blockbuster moves.